Today, we are here to discuss the resolution. This House believes that the world should adopt measures involving, but not limited to, making clean industries a prerequisite for non-emergency official development assistance, ODA, rendered to LEDCs, less economically developed countries, by MEDCs, more economically developed countries, in an effort to combat climate change.
A very good afternoon to all. I stand here today as the first speaker of the affirmative to strongly defend today's motion, which reads, "This House believes that the world should adopt measures involving, but not limited to, making clean industries a prerequisite for official development assistance (ODA) rendered to less economically developed countries by more economically developed countries." Before I proceed, please allow me to define several key terms. Clean industries are industries that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. Less economically developed countries are countries in the process of industrialization and have less access to resources for addressing economic and environmental problems. More economically developed countries are countries that are generally characterized by high levels of industrialization, personal incomes, educational attainments, and health standards. Non-emergency official development assistance (ODA), otherwise known as foreign aid, consists of loans, grants, technical assistance, and other forms of cooperation from developed to developing countries. Moving on to my speech. I will show you why the affirmative supports the motion today based on two predominant reasons. One, securing the future of our environment secures our own future. Two, a clean industry is vital to remedy present and historical environmental problems.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How is this plan supposed to be implemented? 4. The goal of having all industries in a nation to be non-polluting is clearly unattainable. Members of the floor, why do I say so? Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, the switch towards clean industries would have a tremendous burden towards third world nations, as the switch would require new and more expensive technology and expertise. And where, may I ask, is this money going to come from? Where are these funds going to come from?
Do you not agree that combating climate change is a joint effort, not something that should be addressed by developed countries alone?
Yes, I do agree. And yes, this action plan does not state the commitments that are supposed to be made by first world nations. It is wholly on the side of third world nations who are to undertake the burden of reducing their greenhouse gas emissions.
Most of the environmental damage done by the LEDCs is caused by multinational companies from the first world, just like you mentioned just now. These multinational companies from the first world are in these LEDCs, and they're causing this pollution, all these environmental degradation. And if we make this prerequisite of clean industries, we are coercing the governments to enforce effectively clean industries. And so the burden will not be on the people of the LEDCs, but it will be on the multinational companies.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will cover a few topics that refute the points given by the affirmative side. First, the cost, then the inefficient measures taken for the United States, then the long and short-term problems at stake, the implementation of per capita emission cap, and finally, the use of ODAs as incentive. I would first like to ask, does the affirmative side not agree that the transition to cleaner mediums of energy will be exorbitantly expensive for developing nations?
I acknowledge the fact that it's not difficult to switch from fossil fuels to alternative energy, yes, but however, you forgot the fact that when we say clean industries, it does not necessarily mean alternative energy only. It also includes carbon emissions caps, it includes other things like that.
The opposition stated that countries like the United States and the United Kingdom had 200 years to develop into what they are today. They speak of fairness, but we ask, is it fair to leave a polluted world for our children? Is it fair to let the coming generation suffer for our indifference? That is not fairness. That is simply inaction.
For the proposition to state that the Industrial Revolution was a mistake because this process destroyed Mother Earth, be clearly a mistake. Look at all that we have achieved. Look at what the first world have achieved. High living standards, high life expectancy, computers, high medicine. Could we exist without it? Was it a mistake to develop this? No, I do not think so, ladies and gentlemen. And so, lastly, I would like to state that, in conclusion, I would like to remind you that combating global warming needs a concerted effort from all parties, and this burden should not fall onto the third world nations alone. Thank you very much.
On top of all of that, the motion for today, we mentioned that it involves but is not limited to our plan. Our plan does not claim to solve all the problems of climate change. What we are doing is we are addressing something that has yet to be dealt with, that is developing nations. After all that we have seen and heard today, it's very, very clear that this is a good plan. We should make ODAs a bargaining chip to ensure developing countries practice clean industries, that practice environmentally friendly measures